Well, okay, I'm going live, and I have decided to start a 30-30-30 challenge for myself. Hi, it's Gretchen, and I am planning a project that's name right now is Building Freedom. And I spell freedom Freadom. I'll get into that, why it's that. But these are going to be the infrared photographs that I took across the country of Carnegie libraries. They're not edited yet. They are a lot of them, but I've got to get going on it. The other thing is, I want to start this in such a way that I'm going to go either live or do a pre recorded video every day. I'll spend 30 minutes, and over those for 30 days, and over those 30 days I should maybe get through 30 photographs, hopefully get to 30 photographs. That doesn't necessarily mean, I don't think, that I will be doing just one photograph each day, because there's a lot of combining and processing to get through to which ones I actually work on. And for that culling, I'll be using uh, Scott Kelby's Slim system. There, if I get back to it, I will put a link in the description to a video that he did for B&H last year, I think, maybe 2 years ago, on his system. Prior to using his system, my catalog has been all over the place. And I'll talk about that in the 30 days probably, but it's what I'm going to use right now. And I like it. It's a system that works for me. As a retired school librarian, you know what? When I went into the library as a teacher from classroom, the the superintendent's worry was that could I clean the library up because it was kind of chaotic. And I said, the library already has a system in place. Everything has a place. It's really easy to do that. And that is the system. My classroom was kind of all over the place because I had 25 6-year-olds running around and I was letting them develop their own system. So that was the difference. Coming in to setting up your own library catalog or Lightroom catalog, you can get kind of crazy. Um, this particular recovery drive that I have, and I'll tell you more why it's called the recovery drive too, only has 168,000 pictures on it. Only. That's about uh, a third, probably, of my total catalog. I have 450,000. Math is not my great thing, but they're in some other places, and I'm not going to worry about those right now. I'm not going to think about them. I'm not going to focus on them because that's not what this is about. That is one of the things that has messed me up big time, is trying to do too much in too many places. And when it came to the photography. So I'm going to use these 30 days to set aside 30 minutes and work to see if I can get 30 photos out of it. I probably will have to go out shooting a few days because I have 424 photos. That is not, in my mind, sufficient to come up with 30 good ones. You probably don't see where we're like, what? You shoot that many and there's not 30 good ones? Yeah. When there'll be duplicates of some of them, some that are very similar to each other that I might have just changed the exposure a little bit. But also I just need more buildings, and I'm fortunate living in Washington that within probably an hour to 2 hours of me here, there's at least 5 more Carnegie libraries that I could photograph. So, and I haven't photographed them yet. Anyway, that's what I'm going to do. And that's my plan, to work on this catalog. Why is that one red? Okay, that one's red because it's infrared and I haven't switched it to black and white. Come on. There you go. Okay. So basically all I will have done to do these is to get them, they're all shot on a Canon RP that has been converted to infrared, which means the sensor's been removed. In front of that, I've put a infrared filter. This one is a 720 or maybe the 850, I'm not sure, from Kalari. I'll have to look what I used, and that is what's gone. Hey, hi Randall, how are you? I'm doing a setup kind of for, I'm going to give myself a challenge, a 30-day challenge. It's kind of a trifecta for 30 minutes for 30 days and try to get 30 photos done. And this is in my Building Freedom, my Carnegie thing. I'll do more on this. This is just kind of setup. I'm going to test out times over the next few days. I have a feeling I'll be doing this late like this. For me, it's 9:15 on the West Coast. And oftentimes my photo editing time that I like to dive in to things like this is late. So I'll either go live or I will have it pre-recorded, and then I can schedule those if I'm on vacation or if it's holiday or something like that. I don't know if I'll do premieres. I might try those because I know that my friends that are in the art community, crafters and artists, do premieres. That's what they thrive off of, and they like that kind of activity. They're not as comfortable with lives. But yeah. Yeah, you do your best work late at night also. Yeah, I am naturally a bit of a night owl. Even though I'm yawning right now, but I spent the entire day out in the other studio working on stuff and getting ready for grandkids. So, anyway, this is my initial idea. So, this pre-setup, oh, there's another one that hasn't been converted yet. There we go. So this is the initial setup. The ones I brought in, I've got 424. I've already down in collections in my infrared. Infrared. Where am I? Where did it go? There it is. infrared, I have a whole infrared and black and white sections. I follow Scott Kelby's Slim method. So these are my categories in my collections. I have one for infrared and black and white, and within infrared and black and white, I have travel and culture. And down here is a collection set of infrared Carnegie buildings. And I've already moved all of those photos into a collection called Full Shoot. So if I click there, all of them come back down. The Full Shoot does. Okay. And I cannot remember. I'll have to look and see if I did dust removal on all these as a full across the board. So I can go through my process and whatnot, but I just want to do this because I want to get these. And it says I have a folder of pics that I got them down to 285 pics. Okay, I've been through it once. So from pics, what I'll do is then I go through those pics, and it's a pretty cool, easy thing to do with Scott Kelby. You bring them all into the navigation up there. What is it? Into the folders. Okay, but then you start move them into collections, and you move the full shoot. You don't look at them. You just move the whole thing into a collection set, and then the first folder you did is called Full Shoot, and it's just everything. Then you go through and you do kind of just a P for pics. You don't rate them, you don't edit them, you don't anything like that. You just look and pics. Some of them you might have multiples that you can't decide, you still pick them. Then you'll take those pics and from that full pics, you'll go through and look at those and make selects. And that's when you compare things that might be pretty close, or you get down to the nitty gritty of what it looks at, and you can look at them closer, and you get to your selects. Then you give those all a 5 because it separates them. Nope. No, I don't remove any bad pics before that's all done without this. It's really kind of amazing. Because for years I used to do that, and I used to get balled up on do that. So what I'll do is I'll go through it. And so now I'm going through the pics. I get to selects, and by then you're really looking at one or the other, and you might have 3 or 4 that look somewhat the same, especially when I'm doing buildings like this, and I might have just changed an angle or stuff like that. And I'll do a comparison, and I'll get down to which one of those. Scott Kelby says, like when he does portraits, sometimes it's not that much of a difference in the eye, but he can put them in. So the comparison view works really well. Since I don't do people, it's not that big of a deal. Wildlife, it's sometimes, whether the bear's head is up or not. And like my Yellowstone, where I finally got the bear to be looking up, and yay. So you get those in that 5s, and then from those 5, that's where he says that those that make it into the selects that give them, those are the only ones you edit, and those are the only ones you look at further. I take those and I go through those ones that there, and then I decide what if they're going to fit the purpose too. Sometimes I have another one because those 5s are there as selects, and they are waiting to be edited. I might then edit it then and do the final edit on, and then I'll move them into one more folder, which is what I add to, which means is ready for a website, or ready for the project or whatever. And they're ready to go. I've gotten through, I did my cemetery photos this way, and I was really pleased with how quickly it went through. I've done some other ones this way too. I think, did I go through my abstract? Yeah, I did. This was an abstract. There's 146 on this one. And that's the full shoot on abstracts. Let me give you bigger thumbnails so you can see. So I had 146. This is an old, several years ago, that I'd kind of ignored. Then I went through and got 42 as picks, and then went through that again and ended up with just 7 as selects. And I have 2 of them that are very similar, and I don't know why now. Oh, I know. I see what they are. So you end up with the final that the selects, and I've edited these, but like this one needs to be re-edited because this was done 3 years ago, and the masking was not, and I wasn't as proficient at my masking, and it also has dust, it looks like. So I've got to redo that. So this one's not, these are not ready to be in a ready for website aspect. This one is, that one's fine. That one's could do with it. Oh, but that's that wind and denoise. That could be. This is a, yeah, that's a little bit. I did that one specifically for somebody wanted something with a little bit of an edgy kind of silver, kind of chrome type look to it, or yeah, silver, shiny silver chrome type aspect to it. So anyway, but that's where I am. Uh, that's my philosophy on this. So I will be working on that. And yeah. So, do you remove your bad pics before placing them in your library for, yeah. So that's why my catalog is so big. Why I have in excess of 450,000 pictures in my total catalog. Oh, did I get it down? Oh, that's right. I had 450,000. I'm down to 386. That's right. 386, because I did go through and eliminate a bunch of them. I did before I did this. It was at the beginning of COVID. I sat down, and I would sit down every day, and in 2 months I eliminated in 2 months I eliminated 30,000 photos that were just duplicates and trash and stuff like that. And then I went through and used the duplicate a match thing so that I could clean these up. So I cleaned it up. I've been working at cleaning it up. Yeah. I'll talk about that too when I do my lives. So there's lots of things I can talk about, but I'm going to try to focus on getting these guys ready for a book I'm planning. And I think it'll be fun. So, yeah, we'll see how that works. And then, like I said, I've got other places to go photograph around here. Fortunately, like I said, Tacoma has the very is an, about an 45 minutes, hour to find to it, which is for me, everything's 45 minutes away. But to go to Tacoma, where the first Carnegie Library in the state of Washington was, and part of the original building is still there and still in use as a library. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. West Seattle, Green Lake, Georgetown, Fremont, and Ballard are 5 Carnegie libraries in Seattle. There's several across the state that I can go visit, and I haven't photographed those yet. So I have the opportunity to add more photos to this, and we will. I don't know if there's a few in Eastern Washington too, but the snow's hitting the pass, and it won't be this weekend because travel advisories are out already. And besides, it's Thanksgiving weekend, and I'm not going to go do that this weekend. Although that would be kind of fun to photograph some of these buildings in the snow in infrared, black and white. That would be part of this whole experiment. Anyway, that's what I'm doing. I'm going to try to limit it to 30 minutes. I have no idea how long I've been on, but yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So, I will probably put and I'm doing it on my on-camera channel. I'll put some posts out for it. And tonight I wanted to see, I'm using a background that I have. It's one of my former old photographs, or one of my photographs, as kind of the background for it. Thank you, Ecamm. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. Just kind of setting up the plan for it. Practicing. This is the second time I've gone live today on camera, so it's a channel I've got to kind of give it a little bit of love and still do because quite frankly, I have a new book too to read for story and art on my other channel. I can't remember where I put it. I was going to record one, but I cleaned up today and waiting for grandkids. Oh, but that's cool. See, this is what happens. This is where I'm going to give myself the timeline and the structure to try to do this, because I just jumped and looked at a photo and went, ooh, that's cool. I wonder if I could. And then I'm like, no, I'm not at that point where I get to play with them to some degree and get them to where I really want them. Some of these will take some work because they were in interiors. I had to avoid people. They were in old parts of the libraries that were not accessible to the public, or they were in buildings that were under construction, and I snuck in even though the door was barred. Um, yeah. So we'll see how it all goes and where those are. But I'm excited to start this. It's something I talked about, and I want to do more than just talk about it. I want to get it done. So last night, sitting over there in my rocking chair, which is my grandmother's rocking chair, which is where I do all my best thinking, I just came up with the idea of, yeah, you could do this. Do this 30, 30, 30. What I do is call my pics every day after a shoot. That way I have more time to do other things. Yeah, that was something I used to do, Randall. I really did. Um, I would get on here every day with my photos and just working on them. And then I had my catalog crash, and I'll talk about that when we do the lives too. And that was, I had a hard drive fail right before I went to Africa in 2021. And that was a very costly and nerve-wracking experience, and it kind of threw me off. And I started live streaming too. Had been so much so it kind of, I didn't have a good split of my time and kind of lost that track on where I was going. Oh, you had a question. Do you convert RAW to JPEG HEIF files before placing them on the web to save space? Yes, my website is through Art Storefronts, and you can put JPEGs or TIFFs or DNGs. I think you can put DNGs too. I usually do JPEGs. I shoot with a Canon R5, although these are on an RP. So I do that, and then I can manage the maximum size that a print can be used or put together on. Thank you. Yeah. So that's another set of it. So these will all be ready. Like I have my cemetery shots that are ready for the web or ready for whatever, and I put those into the slideshow that I did. I did a slideshow that I posted on here on, it's called Silent Stories on this channel. And I don't know if I'll make those photos available for prints. It might just become a book because I don't, other than myself and my husband, I don't know very many people who have photos of cemeteries on their walls in their house. My husband has one uh, that my mother actually took in Ireland. It, when they were researching family and my dad's family, and it was a bunch of sheep in this old cemetery around from a church that had kind of been was deteriorating, but the sheep were all, walking through the cemetery. And it's this great photo my mom took. And Bob said, I just love that. And she printed it out for him, and he loves it. So yeah, not very many people have those, but I find cemeteries to be a fascinating place of history, and to honor that history and to honor the people, and how they were just what you can find in them, and just little bits of them. So anyway, more time to do other things. Yeah. So hopefully the sound is okay on this. It might be kind of quiet. It looks like my mic was kind of quiet. I don't know. Was it? Oh, not. I just checked levels. Um, but that's my thoughts. So it's coming up. I'm going to practice for a few nights. I'll probably hop on for less time, make sure I'm all set, make sure I have sound levels doing right. But building freedom is going to happen for 30 days in December. Yeah. Better now? Oh, sound is quiet. Thank you. Oof. I need to remember to watch that. Hey, Guthrie. Okay. Beautiful 1800s architecture. Oh, these are all, hi, it's Boca Bushido is my friend Carlos. Carlos is also Ecamm user, and Randall's on. Carlos, these are Carnegie libraries across the country. When I was driving back from Creator Camp, Bob and I camped across the country, and we went to as many little towns that had Carnegie libraries that the building was still standing. Some were still libraries, some have been used in other things. And I am working on a project for them. So I'm going to start a 30 30 30 I'm doing my trifecta. 30 minutes for 30 days to try to get to 30 photos. And I'm going to have to go out and shoot some more because I don't have enough of these 424 that I think are going to make it into my final cut. But like, oh, this is one of my favorites. That is the original 1912, I think this one was 1912 staircase in this library. And so many of his libraries had very similar kind of architecture, but this curve bit that they did there, oh my gosh. Anyway, see, this is what I can't do. I cannot let myself go off and yeah. And then here I'm going to go off again. Look at this. Oops. Yeah. So this kind of light, this is another one of the original lighting that they have. They had it, of course, rewired. And then the original tintype, it wasn't a tintype. It was actually wood that they did. But so many of the old Carnegie buildings had this light in it. It's amazing. Okay, guys. Gretchen's babbling, and it is 9:30. I have been on, I think, for Gretchen is down to 380,000 photos from a higher number. yeah, yeah. I mean, at one time it was really ridiculous. When COVID started, it was like way up there, and I thought, some of them are so bad. And I started I was working on a project then of something to do, and I would sit every day and I would try to get rid of like 1,000 photos a day, and I did it. I got rid of 30,000, and it was it was hilarious. It was hilarious, and it kind of there was. I think I don't early on my channel there might be something about me doing that, but I didn't have eCam then, and I didn't know how to live stream very well, and my recordings are really sad. But yeah, it's anyway, guys. Thank you for being here. I will probably come back on tomorrow night in the evening to do some more testing. Oh no, I won't. It won't be tomorrow. I won't test tomorrow because in this room there will be 2 or 3 grandkids. That's right. They're arriving tomorrow afternoon. So it may be a completely different kind of time that I test again. Yeah. Have a great night, everybody. You guys have a great Thanksgiving. Enjoy yourselves. Let yourself just enjoy the chaos. You know, I did a conversation on my Kaleidoscope Conversations today on my other channel about my motto in my classroom was, if they come home too clean, they must not have had any fun, and that we were going to have fun. So, you know, have some fun with, and the mess is not always physical. Like today I had paint on my hand, but sometimes the mess was in my head because I was doing so many different things, and I just starting to untie the knots in my head. Like, I'm not going to do this. Nope, I can. I'm going to untie that knot, and I'm going to go this way. And I'm just embracing the mental mess and the physical. So this next step is going to be this project. So take care, everybody. Have a great Thanksgiving, and, you know, enjoy the mess. I'll talk to you soon.